true tipping point in some sense where everybody and their uncle and the politicians and common people have started talking about AI came with the release of ChatGPT. December 2022, December 1st, 2022. Yeah. So, I mean, I even have the tweet which Sam Altman said, "Oh, we are happy to announce the availability of ChatGPT and things like that." And so that really opened up, right? The AI, um, I shouldn't say AI revolution, but it really opened up AI to the general public, right? So the biggest thing that ChatGPT did, right? It is not that you know not that people weren't using AI before. Every time you fire up your Google search engine, you are using AI, right? So every time you use Google Maps, you are using AI. Every time you order something on Swiggy, you are using AI. Right? Swiggy is using AI to come up with a prediction model for how long it will take for you to get your food, right? And every time you use Amazon, right, order something on Amazon or Flipkart, you are using AI because they use AI in order to figure out how to group things when they are shipping things stuff to you and etc., how to optimize for their warehouse performance and things like that. But in almost all of these instances, right, or if you're talking to your Alexa, right, so you are using AI. In all these instances, there was an application. AI was something that was driving the application, right? But ChatGPT was an interface, a raw interface to a highly capable AI system, right? So that was never the case before. You always use it for a specific task. Now you could use ChatGPT for whatever task you wanted. You could design your own application. You had a highly capable AI system. So there are two things here. One, people were not exposed to anything of this sort ever before. This is a first of its kind experience for 90% of the population. So people who were in the field, right, who are in the industry or who are doing research in this field, were surprised at how good the system was, but they were not as amazed as the general public was, right? But this sudden step up in the level of exposure you had to the capabilities of AI was really what caught the fascination of the public, right? So, and that's why everybody started trying out ChatGPT and so on and so forth, right? That's the first part of it. The second part of it was OpenAI took the huge risky bet of making AI the product. Right? Nobody, no, I mean, none of the other companies, even though they had equally, more or less capable, equally capable AI systems with them, nobody thought of making that as the primary product because they had other sources of income, to be frank. And this is something which I think Sundar Pichai said around that time, either December 22 or Jan 23, when he asked, hey, doesn't Google have the capacity to do this? He said, yes, Google has the capacity to do this, but we also have a reputation cost. Because when ChatGPT was released, right, it was far from perfect. There were a lot of mistakes it was making. Hallucinations were rampant, and you could make it do all kinds of silly stuff. You could make it say crazy things, right? And you could really derail it. And you had all these instances of ChatGPT professing its love, undying love and affection to the person it was interacting with, asking that person to leave his wife and come move in with ChatGPT and things like that. I mean, all these kinds of craziness was happening when these models were coming out, right? And so it was obviously not something that was really ready for large scale deployment, but OpenAI went ahead and did it anyway, because that was their way of creating excitement about their company, and so that they could get people to come in. So it was a very calculated move, right? So others couldn't do that. Like Sundar Pichai said, it would have been a significant reputational harm for Google even afterwards when they actually followed suit, and there was some simple mistakes that Google's whatever Gen AI did, right? Bard did. That was a huge backlash on Google, right? Even though OpenAI, ChatGPT was doing far sillier things than that at that point, OpenAI got a free pass because yeah, they're a small company. It's okay. They're trying something out. It's an amazing new technology that was there, and the things that it got right was sufficiently exciting that people kind of ignored the things it was getting wrong, and slowly the engineering kicked in and people started fixing it, the model started improving, and so on and so forth. In some sense, ChatGPT coming out in fact increased the investment in AI manyfold. Because of this excitement, people who had never looked at AI as a serious investment opportunity started pouring money in, right? And all he needed to say was, I I am building a product based on an LLM, and then you had VCs writing like $1 million checks for you without even knowing what product you were building, right? So that's the kind of hoopla that got generated. So far, we have not had a huge negative fallout so far. Um, yeah. So hopefully, I think we will continue improving.
I think the reputational risk you talked about and the failures are all as much an integral part of any successes journey. You look at India's own space program or the US space program, they were not without accidents, they were not without failures. So I think it's great that the society at large, led by the investor community, led by the startup community, has taken this bull by the horns and they're trying out some things. I think only good can come out of good trials in some way.